The bad news is well known to Americans across our country. As we continue to struggle through unprecedented economic and ensure that all of this is done with an unprecedented level of transparency and accountability, I have assigned a team of managers to make sure that precious tax dollars are invested wisely and well. The system we have now might work for the powerful and well-connected interests that have run Washington for far too long, but I don't. Members of the National Guard have been activated and are on the scene as well. We have a responsibility to serve all of them as well as they have served us. If you're like any of the Americans I've met across this country, who know all too well that the soaring costs of healthcare make our current course unsustainable, I imagine you'll be watching their progress closely. And that will lead to American jobs that pay well and can't be outsourced. Now's the time to reform an unsustainable healthcare system that's imposing crushing costs on families, businesses, large and small, as well as state and federal budgets. And the American Nurses Association and the American Medical Association, which represent the millions of nurses and doctors who know our healthcare system best, all support reform as well. And fourth, the IRS and the Treasury Department are creating a plain English, easy-to-follow guide, as well as a website, to help folks navigate what are often very complicated waters, especially for workers changing jobs who often are unsure how best to continue saving for retirement. A new report for the Business Roundtable, a nonpartisan group that represents the CEOs of major companies, found that without significant reform, healthcare costs for these employers and their employees will well more than double again over the next decade. It's provided $5 billion worth of tax relief, as well as temporarily reducing or eliminating fees on SBA loans and guaranteeing some of these loans up to 90%, which has supported nearly $13 billion in new lending to more than 33,000 businesses. And in areas like clean energy, we're creating the jobs of the future, jobs that pay well and can't be outsourced. I want to hear from CEOs and small business owners, economists and financial experts, as well as representatives from labor unions and nonprofit groups about what they think we can do to spur hiring and get this economy moving again.
Still find the time and the energy to serve their communities as well. Coaching Little League, running the PTA, raising money to help those less fortunate than they are, and more. But even these strong military families can use.
The result was an economy where some made out well, but the middle class too often took a beating. We imposed tough restrictions to prevent funds for our recovery from lining the pockets of the well-connected, instead of creating jobs for Americans. Give these companies greater incentives to grow and create jobs. I've proposed a new tax credit for more than 1 million small businesses that hire new workers or raise wages, as well as the elimination of all capital gains taxes on small business investment. And that ought to be a value that our government lives up to as well. But if we want to compete on the world stage as well as we've competed in the world's games, we need to find common ground.